Hello and welcome to the latest Wealth Advice market update recorded on the 10th of September, and as usual we're going to be covering markets over the last month. So let's take a look at what's been happening across the UK and the US, and let's consider some key political developments that could shape the months ahead. But before we get into the usual market performance and look at the usual charts, we just want to quickly highlight a charity challenge that we're doing at the minute. As a firm, we are currently walking 1,988 kilometres in a month to raise funds for St Cuthbert's Hospice. A number of us, including myself, did the Great North Run at the weekend, so I'm a little bit stiff, but I'm still getting my kilometres in order to hit this target. So far, we've done 1,420 kilometres, so we really are in the final push. We're raising funds for a fantastic local charity, and we've got a link to donate in the comments below. We are also hosting an event on the 19th of September at Brancepeth Castle Golf Course. This is to celebrate the end of the challenge and to think and raise money for the charity, and it'll include a raffle, games and some food. So we look forward to seeing as many of you as possible there. So, jumping in to look at the usual charts, as you can see, since the start of 2025, the main market volatility on the chart is in relation to Trump and February, March and April, where we had those announcements. The right-hand side of the chart, the more recent side, has been a bit more stable. And I recently had an annual review meeting where someone said, why do the markets not react as much when we've previously seen them being quite volatile? And I think that's a case of actually a lot of that volatility has been priced in and the uncertainty has been priced in. So a quiet month for the markets when we've got positive growth has actually been a good thing. When we zoom out and look at that picture over a year, again, we can see the volatility when we're looking at the S&P 500, also the MSCI World and the FTSE 100. And we encourage people to look and think about markets over the long term. And as you'll know from lots of Chris's updates, zooming out to look at the 5-year period gives us a lot better track record view. And you can see very much there on the right-hand side some of the global impact of Trump and the tariffs. But actually, if you were to put your finger over it now, we're in a position where a lot of our portfolios and the markets there are at a higher point than when they were before that volatility. And actually, when we're having lots of annual reviews and catch-ups with clients, it is a case of, we followed that onward trend, especially when we have diverse portfolios that are there to manage and are not overexposed to one market or sector. So if we jump in and look at the US markets, what's the headline for the last month? Well, there's been strong earnings data and there's also been some political drama. So when we look at the market, it's been fairly flat, but it's also been quite resilient. Global equities ended the month flat, but there was excitement and there was strong earnings data. I've been talking to an economist and fund managers at a conference last week, and people were highlighting things like Nvidia's earning results. There was a view that if they hadn't met a lot of their targets, that could be bad for the market, and people could be worried about signs of structural problems or issues going forward. But actually, tech giant Nvidia beat their overall sales earnings expectations, and they missed out slightly on data revenue. So still, it was a good example of how innovation continues to drive market optimism, and that AI story continues to play out across the US market. And also we're now seeing that sort of drip feed into lots of other companies, how they're seeing more innovation and also more efficiencies as a result of AI. When we look at the S&P 500, around 75% of companies actually beat their earnings forecast. So that's a really positive sign for investors. And when we look at interest rates in the US, at a recent Jackson Hole summit, Fed Chair Jerome Powell hinted that the balance of risk may be now in favor of rate cuts. Markets are pricing in a potential 0.25% rate reduction this month. Again, we know that as inflation comes down and interest rates come down, that's positive for individual consumers to spend more money because they're happier to borrow and spend, but also for companies with things like infrastructure projects or planning for the future, so that interest rates coming down in general should be positive for the markets. When we then move on to think about politics slightly, again, we saw some weak jobs data, and Donald Trump fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics and attempted to remove the Fed governor, Lisa Cook. This raised sort of fresh concerns about the central bank's independence, and that's been a real focus. And while markets didn't seem to react and didn't seem to panic, the long-term implications could be significant. So we'll continue to watch how that plays out and how that may impact Trump's relationships with governors and other politicians. In general, we've seen he wants to put pressure on the Fed and he wants to put pressure on governors to get his agenda through. So it'll be interesting to see if there's a pushback against that or if he is able to have his agenda come through. Moving on to think about the UK, a lot of people are talking and thinking about the budget and also Rachel Reeves' tax dilemmas. The budget date has been confirmed, and that's going to be the 26th of November. And, growth versus reality is the phrase I've seen written a few times. And it's Reeves saying that growth is the answer to Britain's economic challenges, but with sluggish growth and with rising debt costs, balancing those books won't be easy. Most people who are watching this will assume that we're going to have tax rises ahead, and Bloomberg estimate that she may need to raise 35 billion, likely through taxation. Again, this causes the usual panic ahead of budgets where people say, do I need to do something in relation to my tax-free cash, or are they going to change cash ISAs, for example? In general, as with previous budgets, any changes to tax-free cash we feel would take a period of time to come in, and actually we can only give advice and think about the current rules that are at play. So for us, tax-free cash should stay in a pension up until it's ready to be used for an objective. But again, we'll continue to listen to the markets, listen to what financial press are saying, and see where we're going to likely to have tax changes, and we'll be there, the first people to give an update to yourselves and think about how any changes would impact our clients. One of the things where I read an article was, the cost of debt is soaring. So UK borrowing costs are now at their highest since 1998, and the government spends more on their debt than on defence, which is quite a sobering statistic. The other articles tend to look at things like fiscal headroom, and this is shrinking. And like any homeowner weighing up whether to borrow for an extension, the government must consider whether it can afford to borrow more. With weak growth and high debt, that room to manoeuvre becomes tighter and tighter. So again, I'm sure it's going to dominate the headlines, and it's going to be something that's in the press a lot as we move towards the budget. But overall, our view is that actually, as we've seen from the data, as we've seen from the figures, we've had strong investment growth and strong market growth, and that's the benefit of having a diverse portfolio in line with your attitude to risk, which allows you to navigate your retirement or your investment horizon without over worrying at some of the news stories and the articles that come up day to day. So again, we've talked about the markets, we've talked about politics, and again, we've talked about what might happen in the budget going forward. So if you do have any specific questions, please get in touch, and we look forward to seeing you, as many of you as possible, at our charity day at Brancepeth. Thank you very much.